going on, y'all? Andy here with Banjo Earth. We got a special guest today. I'm excited about this conversation. We're here with Chad Andrew Harris, the three named master of the fiddle and guitar. So, how you doing, man?
I'm doing well. I can't let you call me a master. There's no way. There's no way.
A master in training.
Hopefully I'll stay there.
Yeah.
I'll always be a training.
So, what's going on with you today? How's things going?
It's a good day. It's a beautiful fall day. This is kind of the best time of year. Spring and fall are both tied for first place.
Fall in North Carolina, early fall. This is like early October. The air starts to get a little bit crisper. Leaves changing barely. And just the glow, the light changes. And it's like such a good vibe.
And you could feel people around you are just happier. Yeah. And just like, oh, you know what? Like, how could you be not happy on a day like today?
Right. Yeah, I've got this friend, David, who when October hits, he gets super excited. It's like, before then, it's like, I can't do much. But October is like, let's go.
Yeah.
That's wild. So, well, let's just jump in the deep end, get started. What are some of the best gifts you think that music has brought into your life?
Wow. It's connected me with individuals who I think live in a similar manner, which is here's an example of this. So this is a new instrument that I've had for a day, and I've met a lot of people who understand that music brings joy and is something that heals people who play it and who listen to it, and I think that people who play music understand at a level that there's a spirituality in it that's really sacred and special.
Yeah.
And I'm just very happy that I get to do it.
Right.
As much as I get to do it.
Yeah.
And this is just a really special new instrument that I'm enjoying playing. And getting back to the question, there's a gratefulness, like, because I'm in this energy of being grateful, things in life just kind of come my way, and it's hard to explain, but
yeah. Well, and I understand, like, being grateful for what you have, like, opens up new doors. It's like an energy that you give off,
Yeah.
And people are attracted to it, and opportunities come. If you're, like, always, like, kind of in a state of lack of what you don't have or something, and not being grateful for what you have, it makes it, like, harder for that energy to happen, I think.
Right, and so music's given me just a great abundance of friends and connections and instruments and more tools in order to just keep on playing music.
Yeah, very cool. So just start, like, at the beginning. Where are you from? Where what part of the country you come from, and how you first got into music?
Okay, I've been a North Carolinian since I was 13. I'm 34 now, so that's pretty much what I remember. Prior to that, I lived in Texas for a little bit as a kid, and I was a Navy kid, so I kind of moved around. I lived a couple years in Michigan, a couple years in California, but it's wiped from my memory at this point.
Yeah, so quick in and out, like those things. Yeah,
I've got a few Texas memories.
Where in Texas were you?
Mostly Austin, Round Rock, Dallas area, Houston, that whole little kind of a year here, a year there. I've got family in San Antonio.
Yeah.
Just very
Texas
smart.
is super cool, man. And a lot of great music there, too.
It's got its own thing. I went recently, about a month ago, on Labor Day weekend. I went and visited Austin and I participated in some bluegrass jams, and it was just super cool.
Nice.
And there's some Texas swing players.
Oh, I know. Bob Wills.
Go, what?
Texas Playboys.
There was a guy there who had a big belt buckle that said Texas State Champion, and the way he played was like unreal.
Yeah.
And this was after just going to Galax, where I'd seen the best Virginia, North Carolina fiddlers.
Right.
And he was as good, but in a totally different way. Like, he was doing things that they wouldn't have done, and it was very cool to just see how different styles could be at its top.
Yeah. It's so swingy too. It's like
so swingy.
It's for dancing. It feels like a lot, like swing dancing and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Awesome. So what got you first interested in music?
I was put into piano lessons as a kid.
Oh,
against
yeah?
my will. And all I wanted to do was go outside and play with my friends, and my mom would be like, "No, you have piano lessons."
How
today."
old were you?
13.
Okay.
So right when I got to North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
And I took piano lessons pretty regularly for between 2 and 3 years. And then my dad had a guitar and was a guitar player and played guitar in church and had a couple guitars laying around. And there was a combination of, I had friends that I had met at school. This is early 10th grade, so I think I was 15 or 16.
Yeah.
And they were getting together after school and jamming.
Right.
And I couldn't carry my piano, so I was like, I need something that I can connect with my friends with and play with. And the guitar was around, so it just was a natural. I just picked it up and just started trying.
Yeah.
Did take some lessons for a little bit, and had some buddies that were, they'd show me how to play tunes, and went through a little metal phase. We'd get together and play Avenged Sevenfold songs and try to, play all the parts.
Yeah.
I don't think we were doing that great of a job in hindsight, but we had fun.
Well, that's what it's about then, is just getting your feet wet in the music.
And then, I guess right before I was graduating high school, I was playing regularly in the youth group, like church bands. And when I went to college, I was playing in the college campus sort of. It was all church related, that was kind of where my background of being raised in a church.
Cool.
But that enabled me to play in front of an audience on a weekly basis, and with tunes that weren't excruciatingly difficult.
Right.
The worship music is pretty standard progressions. And, and yeah, that was my experience first playing in front of people. Was church stuff.
Very, very cool. Yeah, a lot of the interviews we've done, people have started in church and also started with like piano lessons that weren't so exciting.
Oh yeah.
Was your teacher good at piano lessons, or was it like kind of super boring and kind of?
I had a lot of different piano teachers, 3 or 4 in that first 2 years, and if you asked any of them about me, they would be like, he was terrible, because I never practiced or played what they wanted me to. And I had a good ear, and I figured that out because some of my teachers would come and I'd have the song memorized, but I wouldn't be reading the music. I would have just gone on YouTube, heard it, learned it that way. So my note reading skills were very sparse, but I had a good ear, and I remember a teacher, basically bringing me a new piece of music every week, just because he was like, if you know what this sounds like, you're not going to read it, and you've got to practice reading. Yeah. And
did you pick up reading? Is that something you gathered along the way?
Actually, after the piano lessons concluded and I was in my guitar chapter, I fell in love with the piano because I didn't have to do it. So then I decided I really wanted to learn Maple Leaf Rag, and I could not learn it by ear because of the syncopation and the ragtime sort of, hand coordination. So I was like, if I'm going to learn this song, I got to read music. So I got the music, and slowly, that one song kind of trained me to read music.
Very cool.
That was took me a long time,
Yeah.
months. But once I could play that song, at that point I understood, like, oh, I see the benefit.
Yeah, well, it's such a cool skill. I can read super slow, like note by note, but it's such a cool skill to have because once you have it, the whole world of sheet music opens up to you as far as songs that you can play, you know? Like you can not hear a song, but see it on a sheet and play the song. And to me, that's really interesting. That's really cool.
It is, and I still do quite a bit of reading with violin because there's certain things that it's just easier to learn. Reading. I don't think I'm at the point where my sight reading is at its peak. I think I peaked somewhere in my mid-20s when I was doing it a lot and teaching a lot of piano and teaching a lot of Chopin and Rachmaninoff tunes that I would have to really warm up to go teach a lesson because I had some really good students.
Nice.
Now not so much, but I read violin music and it's easier than reading 2 clefs on piano.
Yeah.
So.
Well, cool. Well, speaking of violin, you got is that a fiddle or a violin?
Oh, it's both. It's, you know, I say a violin is a fiddle and a fiddle is a violin.
Right.
There's lots of jokes about, well, if you play a violin this way, it's a fiddle.
Uh-huh.
I just think that all fiddles are violins and all fiddles are violin, or all violins are fiddles.
Yeah. Well, you know, a violin has strings, and a fiddle has strings.
Strings.
Yeah, that's the big difference, I think. So let's play one on that. You got a new fiddle here.
Yeah, I'll talk about it for a few seconds.
Let us know.
This is a unique fiddle that a buddy of mine named Brad Robinson built. He lives in Charlotte area, Monroe, you know, North Carolina builder. And this is number 40. So he's not been doing it too long, but the last couple years I've played at least a dozen of his, and they are pretty spectacular instruments.
Very
this
cool.
one's unique because it's made out of walnut, and it's a one-piece walnut back, and the sides are walnut, and the neck is walnut, and the headstock's all walnut. So
yeah.
it's got a very milky.
And it has 5 strings, which you rarely see on a violin.
That's true. Really, it's got a low C.
Well, let's play him a tune to see what it
All right,
sounds like.
let's get him with that Arkansas Traveler.
Go for it. Yeah, that thing sounds great.
It's nuts.
Yeah.
It's so unique.
It's got a very earthy flavor.
Old-timey, yeah,
Mhm.
for sure. Cool.
Yeah. Sounds good, man. So when did you start playing the fiddle? I know you haven't been playing that long, really.
Not that long. It's been 2.5 years now.
Yeah.
I started April, my birthday month of 2 years ago.
Okay.
2.5 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah, you made a lot of progress.
Thanks.
Yeah, sounded
Played a
good.
lot.
So let's talk about some of the like bands you play in and stuff. Some of like
Okay.
your music career, how it's gone. So, you know, what are you doing now? And then we'll kind of go back in time and see how that went.
Right now, I'm playing mostly bluegrass, and bluegrass has been the main thing for about I would say post-COVID. Like, you know, I was playing bluegrass a little bit before COVID, but I was a baby bluegrasser. And then the COVID era really gave me the time to like learn
Right.
the standards and get them where I wanted.
Yeah.
And since then, that's been the main genre, and I've been playing with a band called the Charlotte Bluegrass All Stars, which is my vision for the band originally was to have a rotating lineup of Charlotte bluegrassers that just get together to play shows and rotate members through. Since then, it's become more of a core lineup with occasional guests.
Uh-huh.
But I think that the next chapter is going to be more of a rotating lineup because certain members are moving and doing their own thing that have more of a set, like, futuristic goal of touring and doing that stuff.
Right.
And right now I'm kind of not in the touring chapter of my life. I've done it a little bit and I'm enjoying. I'm doing it in a teaching role. I'm teaching 5 days a week.
Okay.
Right now.
Cool.
And I'm also kind of bouncing around countries teaching as part of some international programs, which we'll have to talk about soon.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, the chapter I'm in now is mostly bluegrass as far as music wise, and I'm picking up some country gigs and anyone that wants to pay me to play fiddle, I'm like all about it. Since it's so new and I'm enjoying.
So you're doing some country fiddle gigs then?
Yeah, Bob Wills, Bubbles in My Beer, Hank Williams, all the classics.
Nice. And so I know also you you're in a Rage Against the Machine cover band, or
that was a past chapter. That ended earlier this year, but for a couple years I was in a Rage Against the Machine tribute band.
Wow.
Guitar.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about that, like what it's like playing that kind of music and that kind of crowd, and what the energy's like.
It's a rush. It's very energetic. You gotta do some yoga before you hit the stage. You gotta move around. If I don't jump, I get yelled at.
Really?
Or I would. After the show, like, hey man, you gotta do that. You
gotta jump.
The goal of the band was to be a tribute band. So like I had to watch Tom Morello and like copy his moves and like copy like how he. Certain things that he did that were kind of iconic, which was fun. A lot of pros to that project. One, it was good money. It was we would have a pretty short set, and then that was just the way it was. It wasn't a 3-hour bar gig. It was like you go out on stage, people buy tickets, and then
do the show.
In 90 minutes you're done.
Yeah.
And also knowing like, hey, every time that we play these tunes, we're playing them this way, can be a very cool way to progress as a musician. Because in bluegrass you just improvise and it's fun, but it's a challenge to play the same thing twice in a row. And in that band, it was like, hey, make sure you play the solo note for note.
Yeah.
The way it's recorded.
Wow.
So there's a discipline and focus in that I think is really a healthy thing to try to.
Gives a little bit of freedom to that, like was it Jocko Willings? Discipline equals freedom.
Right. If you can play the same thing twice in a row. Then you earn the right to experiment. Almost.
And then there's the other flip side to that, I guess, is like copying someone else's art. Like I think has a feeling of like lacking creativity in a way. Did you feel that at all, or how?
Well, as much as I tried to sound like Tom Morello, I still sounded like me trying to sound like Tom Morello. Yeah. And there's a magic in that. Like, you're never going to be, sound exactly like somebody else. I had someone recently kind of, I wouldn't call it an argument, but he was like, oh, I don't want my son to take lessons because I don't want him to sound like everybody else. I was like, no. Like, I was like, he could have lessons from every fiddler and he's not going to sound like anyone. Yeah. Like, to me, it's kind of a cop-out. But,
yeah, I mean, I agree with that because you got to learn from the masters to build your own style. You know, you go from the source and learn that stuff, and then you take it the next step. That's your style, when you do that.
And there's chapters. I had a chapter where all I wanted to do was learn every note Billy Strings was doing and copy it, and then play like that. Yeah. And I never sounded like Billy Strings. You could hear his licks because I took a lot of his licks. Yeah. But at a certain point, I kind of evolved to a place where I really enjoyed his playing. But I wanted to play his songs, but the way I would play them. So instead of copying his guitar solos, I was like, okay, if I had to take a guitar solo over this song, how would I play it? Yeah. And that just changed over time to being more of what I was trying to do.
Cool. Well, also, Billy Strings, took a lot from Doc Watson and Tony Rice, so a lot of Billy Strings licks are going to be like directly from those guys who also got their licks from people, you know.
Yeah,
So
I mean, exactly.
that's how music works. It like gets handed down, and each artist can learn from the masters and then add their own style and their own things into it. So yeah, I mean, just like banjo players doing Earl Scruggs licks, you know, like those are Earl Scruggs is the vocabulary of bluegrass banjo, and
Yeah.
I mean, you can try to play like Earl, but you won't sound exactly like him. But that's a good thing. You'll sound more like you.
Right, you're gonna sound like you no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
Is you know, basically where I was getting at. But that, let's see. Yeah, lately I've just been playing and trying to be a student of the fiddle since it's a newer instrument for me.
Yeah. So you're teaching some lessons and stuff too. So what is teaching, like, what do you think that has taught you, and what kind of skills have you learned as you've taught other students that you can take to your own music?
That could be a whole episode right there. That's a big question. I really enjoy, I said this the other day, I said I enjoy helping children play Twinkle Twinkle Little Star on the violin.
Yeah.
Way more than I enjoy helping a guitar student play Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, because it's a challenge. I remember how hard the violin is every day that I play it.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm like, wow, this is hard. So when I have a student who's trying to learn something that's simple like that, I get excited because I can relate. I'm like, I know this is hard. It's hard for me. It's something that's still, I remember very clearly when I couldn't make anything good sound out of this, and I was just like, how do people do it?
Right.
And because it's so fresh, I really can relate to the students more easily than my guitar students. If I have a guitar student that can't play a G chord, I'm just like, I don't understand. I don't understand because I can't remember not being able to do this.
Yeah.
So
but yeah, violin is like harder to get going, get a good sound out of it. Like, but it's notorious for beginners sounding like dead cats, and or like dying cats.
But I look at it as like a really fun challenge. I'm like, how can I get this student to make this instrument sound good in their hands?
And how do you approach making it fun for them?
I find stuff all the time. Like, recently I've been a big proponent of using a drone and going on YouTube and just hitting a drone and just, I'm like, play your A with the A, and then I'm like, play this note. Is that in tune? And then what I've had them do is play a scale, and then I ask them afterwards, I'm like, which finger do you feel like was most in tune? Yeah. And then they're, I don't know. I'm like, well, play it again, and this time think about it. Yeah. I did it with every student this week. Cool. It was so fun. Yeah. And then I ask them, which finger do you think was the worst? And after a couple times, like, they just start thinking about every note. Right. Instead of just playing a scale, like, oh, my finger's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Yeah. And so by the time,
the vibrations, by
the time we've gone through a scale 5 times, and I'm like, okay, what was your best finger this time? They start having a hard time because they're playing everything so much better. Yeah. And then I'm like, well, this time, what was your worst finger? And it's a great experiment because if it's the same finger every time, then I say, well, let's really focus on this one finger. Yeah. Like, let's find out where this finger needs to go to be perfect.
Narrow it down.
And then sometimes, some of the students, every time it's a different finger. Yeah. And I'm like, well, then maybe we need to focus more and go slower so we're really thinking. Cool. And it's transformed every single student of mine in like a week. Yeah. This is something I did starting this week. Awesome. And it worked so well with one student, I was like, oh, I'm going to do this. Everyone's doing this today.
So that's sort of like something you've learned how to do is kind of take a skill that needs to be learned and kind of make a structure around it of how they can develop it and have fun doing it. And it's like,
a game.
It's exciting. Yeah, gamify it a little bit.
And then if I hear them, hit a note real bad and I see their face and they're like, because they know, and I'm like, and then we finish, I'm like, which finger? And they already know. They're like, my 2 finger. So it's fun. It makes it a game, and it also is developing like a little bit more focus on what you're doing.
That's awesome.
But I've got plenty of students that can rip a song for a minute and not a single note's in tune. Right. And I'm like, they don't.
They're not getting it yet.
I mean, they're
start
great.
From scratch,
but they're not thinking about the difference between like there and there. They're thinking of, oh, here's all the notes on the paper. Yeah. So that's been the most fun thing lately for me, is just like having them, break down to like, hey, can you play 2 notes and then and those two notes be perfect.
Right.
Like, let's start there.
Yeah. Yeah, starting at the beginning and getting it, like, sounding really good, and then going from there. That's a great idea. Well, you want to play a little guitar and
Sure.
give them a little flavor of some guitar action? You know, for our first gigs we played together, you were on guitar, and so I love your guitar playing. Let's give them a little sample of what's happening
Guitar's been the main instrument for a long time.
Now, who's been your biggest guitar inspirations or like guitar heroes that influenced your playing the most? Besides Billy Strings, obviously you mentioned.
Yeah, I gotta say Norman Blake is my favorite. Of the I call the Mount Rushmore pickers, Doc Watson, Tony Rice, and then you probably if you're gonna have four. I'd say Dan Crary, just because for me personally, he was a big influence early on. Like my first bluegrass book was his bluegrass flat picking book. Yeah. And I went through the whole thing.
His style is very cool with like a lot of open notes and stuff.
It is a lot of floating stuff. Yeah. And then Clarence White, like those are the four inventors.
Yeah, Clarence has to be on the Mount Rushmore.
Clarence White, Dan Crary, Doc, and Norman Blake. Yeah. Norman Blake's the one for me that just. The way that he wrote songs, I call him the Bob Dylan of bluegrass.
Yeah, like I love it. Yeah,
I love Norman.
I saw Norman play with Tony, and their old albums are great. And Norman himself, he just has such a easy vibe. I mean, he's still doing his thing, I guess, but he doesn't play much anymore. I don't think.
I think Norman's just up there. He's at the age where he's played a long time and
he's left a lot of great music along the way.
Yeah.
What do you want to play? What's want to do that one? It's kind of the getting married song.
Yeah, getting married.
What's the name of this one?
She Left Me Standing on the Mountain.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
PG. You want to kick it off?
You go ahead.
All right.
Kick it off for the.
1, 2, 3. Well, darling, will you marry me? I asked the maiden fair. Turned my back on her when I looked, she wasn't there. She left me standing on the mountain. She left me standing way up where those honeybees are buzzing around the flowers there. That is where she left me, somewhere in that mountain air. She left me standing on the mountain. She left me standing way up there. I just remember talking to a bear. They were both laughing about her giving me the air. She left me standing on the mountain. She left me standing way up there. Well, I'd give almost anything if once more she'd appear. Tell me that she cared a little for this mountaineer. She left me standing on the mountain. She left me standing way up there. She left me standing way up there.
All right.
Yeah.
There we go. Where'd you first hear that tune?
Oh, Jim and Jesse did this little music trivia. I was told this by, I don't even remember who told me this, but when Jim and Jesse did their Grand Ole Opry debut, they opened with that song. That was the first song.
Okay.
A lot of people think it's like Sweet Little Miss Blue Eyes or something.
Yeah.
Which is also another good one. But and then I was told that they didn't even write that song, but it was around before their time.
Cool. Yeah. Have you ever played the Opry, or you ever been there?
I've never played there, never
Yeah.
been. I know all about it. Seen
Yeah.
videos of people playing there.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool place.
Have
I've
you
never
ever-
been either, no.
Oh, man.
But yeah, I've seen the videos too.
What are we
Gotta go.
waiting
I've got a lot
for?
of friends that have played there.
Let's
but-
go. Let's
yeah.
go play there.
Let's go do it. Well, all right. So, this let's get a little like. So I know you recently went to Nepal. So Banjo Earth, is founded on going to other countries and like experiencing other cultures and exchanging music and stories, like a cultural exchange kind of vibe. Aimed at bringing people together through the power of music. Right.
Yeah.
That's the basis of Banjo Earth. And I love it when people go travel to other countries, especially ones that are quite different. And pick up those vibes from the people and also share the bluegrass music. And so you've done that recently in Nepal.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about like what it's like over there and playing bluegrass for the people of Nepal.
Yeah. Okay. So I spent 3 months over there this past summer, and taught. There was a high school that we had a program of about 30 and some change kids.
Mm-hmm.
Roughly 8 kids per instrument on banjo, mandolin, guitar, and fiddle. And
Yeah.
then there was a handful of bass students, but the bass program was like kind of like, hey, we'll start this the next season.
Yeah.
But I had about 8 guitar students, and most of them had already played guitar for a couple years and were good enough to where they knew all their chords and could pick.
Uh-huh.
So that was really cool. I
Yeah.
got to teach them Doc Watson tunes, Billy tunes.
Right on.
And we taught 5 days a week.
Yeah.
So it was like every day after school,
Uh-huh.
a 2-hour program.
Wow.
So they were really
That's
immersed
intense. Yeah.
in it. It is intense.
Uh-huh.
It is intense. They got 2 hours,
You can make a lot of progress as a student in that time.
You can.
Focused. That's super focused.
And what we would do is at the beginning of the week, we'd have, a class and then a break and then another class. But after the first couple weeks, we started splitting up halfway through into bands.
Uh-huh.
And every week we would have, on the board, we draw names, and it would
Yeah.
be a random selection of instruments for a band.
Right on.
So everyone got to play with a different group and a different skill level,
Yeah.
which was really cool. And I thought that was really advantageous for everyone to have, the best mandolin player could possibly have the worst guitar student. Or,
Yeah. That's a good
just-
idea to put it all together. It's like the bluegrass lottery.
It's a bluegrass lottery. And the kids grew from the experience
Uh-huh.
of having a different combination of musicians and understanding, like, all right, how do you make good music when you're playing with someone you don't necessarily know or are comfortable with, and there's a skill level gap.
Yeah.
And finding the pulse, and all this stuff applies to all ages and all
Right, yeah,
levels
yeah.
of musicians of all genres even. So
Yeah, it's like an intangible that you can't really teach directly, but you put them in certain situations and you can pick that up.
and it applies to just life outside of music too, and
Mhm.
adapting and working with other individuals on a project,
Yeah.
on a similar goal. So that was really special to be a part of that. The program I was working with is called the Bluegrass Journeyman,
Okay.
and they've done a few excursions in India already, and this was
Mhm.
the first one in Nepal.
Nice.
But they've got more opportunities coming up. So
Yeah.
if you're interested, I know that you approached and asked to do it.
Yeah, yeah, I
I
would
give
love
it
to
my
do it.
recommendation.
I know, thank you. I
Yeah.
would love to do it sometime because, like I said, I just love to go experience other cultures, and I love the music of other cultures. That's one of the things I focus on when I travel is, like, before I do a Banjo Earth project, I've been to China, India, Brazil, Peru, Mexico. I study the music of that country and culture before I go to learn some of the tunes and then play them there and learn from other people. So what kind of influence and inspiration did you find from the Nepalese culture and the people there that influenced your music, or your life in general?
Yeah, they've got a very cool energy of the Himalayan mountains there, and some of their traditional folk music is quite similar to the Appalachian music here in North Carolina. Their instrumentation's a little different. They have an instrument called the sarangi, which is a fiddle, but you kind of hold it like this and play it this way. It's like a little small violin.
How many strings does it have?
It has 4.
Okay.
And they're tuned. They're usually you're using a drone on a string. It's not tuned the same as a violin. But I have one. I bought one.
Right.
But it's over there because I couldn't
bring it back.
Fit it.
Yeah.
But when I go back, I'm going to bring it back, and it's a very cool instrument. And they play with their fingernails on the top of the string, and their fingernail, because there's no frets, so you put your fingernail down, and that's how they get the sound.
Right on.
Feels pretty awkward, but you can, if you know what you're doing, you can shred.
Yeah, right
not
on.
having to apply that much pressure.
Yeah.
So that's cool. There's a really ancient, tradition of playing Nepalese folk tunes with some of these instruments acoustically in the mountains, and what I was told there by some of the musicians there is that they've had a hard time finding, just how you were mentioning earlier about the churches, like there's a certain generation that's the younger generation that are there's certain tunes and styles that are being forgotten because not as many people are doing it as we get into the modern era.
Yeah.
Which kind of highlights some of the, I think, draw to bluegrass that is all over the world. Like it's a very cool genre because there's a tradition in it that's really powerful and rooted. And like I had a fiddle teacher that told me, he was like, when you play this song, think about how many generations before you have played this song this way, and that energy is very special. Yeah.
It's like the ancestors of the song, you're keeping that going.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think this age with AI and the internet and social media, I think a lot of those things are being lost, but I think there's going to be a turn where people are looking for those things, traditions and the older things, the real authentic culture and experiences,
I think the need is great, and I feel the turn. Because in a world that's becoming more fake, I think the things that are real are becoming worth more, and being valued as very important.
Yeah.
Maybe not by the masses, but by the people who crave something real. They'll go far and wide to find it.
Right. And the experience of real people. Like AI is never going to be able to play live music in a setting in like a tavern or something unless it's like a robot, like that takes humans to get together and have that experience. And I think like you said, those things are becoming more valuable.
And connecting. And that was another thing. I joined many different bands when I was there, and a lot of them had members that couldn't speak English, but you can still play music with them.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you've encountered this in your travels.
Like, absolutely.
How cool is it to sit down and play music with someone and you can't understand each other verbally, but musically you can connect.
Well, that's so cool. That's amazing. That's the basis of my entire project, is because it's the universal language. You don't need to speak those things to feel the rhythms and play the notes and the chords, because music is just vibration.
Yeah.
When you make a note, it's vibrating a certain tempo and time, and you can collaborate with people, and you could collaborate with aliens.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be the same thing.
I had someone. I'll never forget this. I had someone walk over who didn't speak English and whisper something to a girl who then conveyed to me. She was like, he's kind of embarrassed because he wishes he could say this in person, but he really enjoyed playing with you and he wants you to come back tomorrow.
Oh, nice.
It's just like, that's so cool. Like, he took the time to just be like, I want him to know, even though I can't communicate this, I'm going to use someone else to be able to tell him, I just, that made my...
such a cool connection.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Well, so you've been playing a lot of gigs, professionally for a while now, and I like to, if any musicians are watching this, to give them some tips, people maybe just getting started playing gigs or getting in bands. What are some of the things that you've discovered that makes people, makes it attractive to want to play with you or to hire you for gigs? What can musicians do to get better at just being a professional musician, do you think?
The biggest thing, I think, is being aware of the energy of the people that you're playing with. It's very easy to be in a jam circle and one guy just be twice as loud as everybody else.
Yeah.
And, you could be, if you're aware of the dynamics, this is all encompassing. It's not just dynamics, no choice. But I try to focus on, especially in bluegrass, if someone's taking a break, I'm really trying to focus on their break.
Yeah.
In the context of two people who are like playing as a duet, it's not as important because we're both combining sounds, like we were just doing earlier. But just being aware of the energy of the people you're playing with is the biggest thing.
Yeah.
And if you're playing as a solo, being aware of the energy of the people you're playing to is also a big one.
Like connecting with the crowd. Also, listening is a big part of that. Having your ears open to hear what's going on with the band around you.
Right. Like if you're playing a gig, you know, you're there to serve whoever's listening, and just being aware, like, hey, like you can adapt your set to the listener.
Yeah.
You know, how can you serve them?
Yeah. What are some skills that you've learned, you had to learn for yourself that have made you more hireable? This seems to be like taken for granted, but if I have a set list that's given to me, I will go through it. Yeah. And
a lot of musicians don't necessarily prepare for the gig in that way.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't take a lot of work to just run a whole set. Like, you're not going to play more than a 3-hour set. Like, I don't need to sit down and spend an hour per song, but I'm going to at least listen to each song and make mental notes on, okay, there's nothing in here that I need to be aware of. Okay, next.
Yeah,
at
the
very
feel,
least,
get your bearings on that too.
At the very least, yeah.
So simple, like, preparedness.
Simple preparedness,
But you say you've kind of, like, been leaning towards that since you started, or you've had to develop that?
Since I've started, that was a big thing for me, because I just wanted to, I wanted to play my best. But since I've learned, let's see, if I can think of one thing I'm doing now that I didn't used to do.
Yeah.
It would be... I think joy is a big thing.
Right.
I know players who are really good, but are not necessarily as desirable or hireable because they don't look like they're having a good time.
Yeah.
And I played a fiddle gig with someone a year ago when I was just really new to fiddle, and at one point they were like, "Man, you got to move around more. Like you got to look like you're happy to be here. You got to put on a show." And recently I played with him again. And after the show, he surprised me, hit me on the back. He was like, "That's what I'm talking about," because I was moving around and I was dancing, and I don't think I was playing that great. I was playing really sloppy if I was thinking about it.
Right.
But you could tell because I was having such a good time.
Yeah.
And that's all he cared about. He was like,
well, that's super important. If you're having fun, the audience is gonna have fun too. You don't want to throw it out skill and taste and throw it out the window, but
someone told me years ago, and it stuck with me. But people listen with their eyes more than their ears. And he said, it's just a rule of thumb. He was like, if you look like you're having a good time, it doesn't matter what you're playing. Most people aren't actually listening with their ears, listening with their eyes.
And they listen with their hearts.
And their hearts.
So they listen, they feel connection.
Right.
If you're connecting, I know there's, won't name any names, but there's some musicians who are the best in the world as far as skills go, and people have mentioned walking out of their shows because they don't feel anything. The audience wants to feel something, and if you could be the best, but if you're not putting that feeling in and connecting with the audience, it's not gonna hit.
Yeah, if you go up on stage and they can feel like you are, that's where you want to be the most. They're gonna be more keen on hearing what you have to say.
Yeah, they're gonna be down. All right, well, let's play another tune. I know we're getting short on time here. We gotta go play a show here, play a wedding. What time is it? Do you know?
We'll find out after we play a John Hardy.
All right, let's play some John Hardy. Okay, you're gonna do it on the fiddle. Let's do it. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. on his guns every day. Shot down a man on the West Virginia line. Ought to seen John Hardy get away. Ought to seen John Hardy get away. Run up to Virginia round the East Stone Bridge. Thought he would surely be free. Along came a marshal with a gun in his hand. Johnny, come along with me. Johnny, come along with me. Let's hear that fiddle now. John Hardy had himself a little woman. The dress she wore was blue. That Johnny, as he rode on that town, Johnny, I'll be true to you. Johnny, I'll be true to you. His travels, they have led him from the east to the west, from the north to the south in the town. Sun comes up tomorrow, they'll lay John Hardy down, show him to his hanging ground. They're gonna let John Hardy swing down. John Hardy was a desperate little man, strapped on his guns every day. Shot down a man on the West Virginia line. Ought to seen John Hardy get away. 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 Lord have mercy. All right, a little bluegrass music there. Well, I got one more question for you here.
Okay.
And we like to go super deep on the last one, just to give them a little like flavor, you know. So just imagine you have to leave the Earth, like aliens are taking you away on a spaceship or something. You're leaving tomorrow. You can't ever come back, and you have to like leave your best piece of advice on how to live, what you've learned, you know. So, what are you going to tell the folks? You know, leave them with something as you go away on the spaceship.
Okay, here's the rule of life. Everything happens for a reason. There's no mistakes. There's no bad things. If I think about the top 5 things in my life that I would at one point said, this is terrible, they all were the biggest blessings, and everything in my life that I'm grateful for today could never have happened without all of those things.
Yeah.
So, there's nothing in life that can happen that's so bad that it won't make something in your life better. And I just believe that. Even if it's necessary, you know.
Well, that belief
I
itself.
live with that belief.
Yeah, that belief
and
helps
that belief runs the way that my life has unfolded.
Yeah, and it helps change your focus
Helps
when
change
you're
my
going
focus,
through bad
yeah.
stuff. That like, what can I learn from this?
I have this belief that nothing bad can happen to me, and anything that happens that isn't good is actually good.
Yeah, that's a great, very helpful belief to have. Well, you heard it here first. Thanks, Chad, for jamming with us and join us on the Banjo Roast podcast. Y'all check him out. Like, where can people find you?
Oh, Chad Andrew Harris is my Instagram and Facebook handle.
Uh-huh.
That's where I post all my videos. I try to post pretty regularly, like videos of me playing with buddies or
Yeah.
solo, and where I'm playing.
Cool.
Yeah, what I'm doing. Yeah.
We'll tag the links in the description. So thanks for listening.
Yeah.
Thanks for jamming
Andy.
with us.
That was fun.
We'll see you in the next one. Adios.